Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good this evening. So I'm back. I'm back from Las Vegas. I was out there for about 2 weeks, and it was a good trip. Got some work done. Just still trying to figure that all out. It was a good trip overall. And if you followed me for a number of years, I've gone out there about every 2 years, about the same time. So 2021, I was out there in like July, August time period. And then back in 2019, I was out there during the August, September time period. So my brother lives out there. So I go out and do some work with his company. Yeah, so that's so I'm back. I'm back in Kentucky, back in the garage here, in my tank top. It's late. It's well for me. I've been on a sort of a normal schedule here for the past couple of weeks. Back on a, I guess if you go to Pacific time. It's only about, 11, 12. It's about 10:41 out on the East Coast, or the West Coast, I'm sorry. So I got to get used to the, working with them in a different time zone for the next few weeks or whatever. So, yep. So 10, it's 10:42. Pacific, 1:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this whole day I got up at like 4:48 Pacific time, so about 7:48 Eastern. Got an Uber back to the airport. The TSA lines were a little bit long, and the Frontier, I fly Frontier. Even though they're like a discount airline, I've never had any problems with them. So, they're good. So, but the line this morning was like very, very long. I got an email the night before from the guy I'm doing work for, and he said, like, watch out, TSA is going to be like extra long. But TSA was fine. It was just the Frontier Airlines, their baggage tags in particular. Now in Cincinnati, when you get to Cincinnati, you walk into the airport, for departures, and there's like the computers, the little kiosks, and you can scan your in the app or whatever, and it'll give you a boarding tag. And then when I was in Cincinnati 2 weeks ago, you could you basically self-tag your own bag, and then they had a dedicated drop-off for that bag. So you could just walk up, put the thing on there. They would weigh it. If it wasn't over 40 pounds, they would take it, thank you, give you a receipt or whatever, and you're gone. And it was super easy, super simple. So, but yesterday when I was in Vegas, you had to wait in a big long line. The kiosks were not before you got to the line, they were after. So everybody was waiting in this big long line. They had all the little sections roped off weird. So even if people got up to the kiosk, they would have to get back into another line to drop off their bag, and that was blocking people from getting to the kiosks. So I'm like, I disconnected the little thingy and said, hey, I got to go check in here. I got to go get my bag tagged or whatever. So I pulled the little thingy out and got up there. But then, like I said, I still had to walk back, get into line again. Now, there was a couple different Frontier flights. There was like one to Oklahoma City, one to Cincinnati, and then one or two others. So they sort of split people up by line, which was good. Sort of finally created some organization. But so I got through there. I had about an hour left before boarding time started. So after I got through the Frontier line, I still had to go through TSA. And like I said, TSA wasn't too bad. Now they did they did flag my bag. They did flag it because I had some AG1, not a sponsor. AG1, the athletic greens that other YouTubers talk about. The little powder nutrient drink or whatever. I had some of that in my bag, and I guess in my backpack it showed up as like a organic mass. So they saw the powder, probably thought it was like drugs or something like cocaine, because it's a very, very light powder. I mean, if you open up the bag, it just sort of, the powder just sort of flows out. It's so fine. But the guy swabbed it and put it into the little drug machine or whatever. It didn't find anything, so he let me through. So, but I probably got to the gate about 30 minutes before. So I'm really glad I got up about half an hour earlier than I expected to because of all the delays. But yeah, I got my flight. I got back to Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Airport, probably around 2:45, 2:40, 2:50. Then, of course, baggage takes forever. So that took about another 45, 50 minutes. And then my dad was there to pick me up. And then my dad and I went down, Father's Day, June 18th. We went down to where my daughters live and took them out to dinner, for Father's Day. And just got to talk to them. They're getting into their teenage years, so they're much more busy, and it's harder to see them like I used to be able to do like every other weekend or whatever. But they have school activities, and 2 weeks ago or whatever, they were in like New York City, and so yeah, they're growing up. They're my oldest is going to be 18 this year. My youngest will be 15 here in 2 days. So Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday's her birthday. Summer solstice, June 21st. I always joke around with her. She's like my summer solstice baby. Because when she was born on June 21st, she was born literally just right after dawn. So the sun was coming up, and that's when she was born. So, yeah. So she's my summer solstice baby. She's right on the edge of, I think it's Leo and Cancer or whatever. I don't know the horoscope stuff. I'm Scorpio, so my mom, me, my mom, and my aunt on my dad's side, we're all born on the same day, so we're all Scorpios. Yeah, proudly. But yeah, I'm really, really tired. I'm sort of jet lagged. I'm just trying to get readjusted to the Eastern time zone. I got to be up here in probably about 8 hours to do some more work tomorrow. So I'm just sort of winding down a little bit. I was watching a movie here on my Mac, but I'm like, well, I'm back home. I need to go in and get my Rodecaster out, get the mic out, and headphones and everything. So that's what I'm doing now. At some point, I'll probably make a Vegas video. It sort of got, because of the work I was doing, I sort of got busy, and I didn't do a chronological video as much as I sort of hoped I would have. I posted on my Facebook and my Instagram that, last night, well, I guess it's 2 nights ago now, I spent a really cool afternoon and evening with some new Lithuanian friends that through my brother and his girlfriend or whatever that I met out there in Vegas and stuff. And they were just, I was out there, when I was out there 2 years ago, they were they that's the first time that most of them met me. And then it's been 2 years. And then when I went back to see them again the other night, they remembered me. It was just so good. It was so cool. They remembered me. They're like, yeah, bring him on over. And even though I'd only met them once before the other night, they remembered the entire visit that I was there back in 2021. Very hospitable. The Lithuanian people, from what little exposure I've had to them over my last 2 trips out to Vegas, they're probably the most hospitable people that I've ever met. Just the kindest and just most accepting people that I've ever met. I'm just some dude, but they remembered me. And it wasn't just like fist bumps and like, handshakes or whatever. They remembered me and they came up and gave me hugs and, I honestly, I hate to say it, but I probably only remembered about 3 or 4 of the people from my previous trip, because in my previous trip in 2021, I didn't think I was ever going to be out there again anytime in the near future. So in my mind, I didn't invest a lot into actually getting to know the people on that first. I mean, I did, but I didn't, I guess, commit it to my long-term memory or whatever, but they did. And so when I was there the other night, they're like, your family, through the connection with your brother and everything, you're like family to us. Like the next time you come out to Vegas, let us know. We'll make sure you have a great time and everything. So it was flattering. It was just really cool to meet them. And most of them are actual U.S. citizens now. So, and as I said on my Facebook and Instagram post, even though they're not like American born, like full-blooded red-blooded Americans or whatever, they became citizens and they embraced the American culture, the American society. That doesn't mean they had to get rid of their own. I mean, like their kids have only known America, but their kids still speak Lithuanian. They still are learning the culture of Lithuania. So just like with with Mexicans and Guatemalans and everybody from Central America, you don't have to give up your heritage. But when you come to America, you need to embrace America. You need to embrace, at least be somewhat patriotic, learn the history, but still keep your own at the same time. And that's the way it's always been, Now, tracking back, my family and everything, we've been here since like the Revolutionary War and before, back into the 1600s. But, but I talked to like Italian friends, or not Italian, Irish friends of mine who their family came here in the mid 1800s, early 1900s. But they came to America with a dream, of the American dream, and they fulfilled it. They did it. So they still have their Irish background, the food, the culture, the everything, but they still embrace the patriotic elements. The 4th of July, the Independence Day, they still embrace that. That's the way it's supposed to be. And I guess the biggest takeaway from my night the other night with the Lithuanians is, the whole Russia-Ukraine conflict. I have friends in Russia. You all, if you followed me long enough, you know that. And then, I have friends in many different places, Turkey and, Estonia, Latvia. I have friends, in different places and stuff. So even it's a very complicated topic, but, basically the takeaway is that you screw and I was talking with my friends the other, 2 nights ago, when I left their party on Facebook, and I said, just forget the governments, screw the governments. If the people It all comes down to the people. When people get together and have a good time, then that's all that matters. And then I made a joke, like if all the world leaders, Biden, well, I don't even want to talk about Biden. We got into that whole conversation too, and my Lithuanian friends aren't fans of Joe Biden, but even back, like, for example, a couple years ago during the Trump days, if like Trump and Putin and Kim Jong-un and, the Turkey guy, Erdogan, if all of them actually got together, the Mexican president, the Brazilian president, if they actually all got together and sat down at a table and they like smoked some weed and had some beer, and just talk to each other as real humans, just like, okay, this is what we need to do to make the world a better place. I mean, what's so hard about that? I mean, it's frustrating. It's really, really, really frustrating that, the world leaders, they're just, I know famous people. I know people, I used to know people from like the government, from top level government people. They're just people just like you and me. There's no difference. Yeah, they might have money, they might be rich or whatever, but they're all just the same people that we are. They have their doubts, they have their fears, they go through all the same emotions, they go through divorces and breakups and controversy, and even more so than we do. So, I mean, when they do something that hits the media, they feel it even more than we would if it like hits our local Facebook friend feed. So I'm rambling, but I'm about 17 minutes in. But yeah, so really, the people of the world, I actually said this in a video maybe 2 or 3, 4 months ago. I said, when the people of the world come together, then the leaders of the world need to listen. It's probably a little more than that, but when the people of the world come together, then I remember now. When the people of the world come together, the leaders of the world will lose their power over them. And that's pretty much the truth even now, even today. If you watch like enough YouTube and different travelers that travel around to different countries and everything, the people in those countries are pretty much all the same. They're like, they're not polarized by their governments or whatever. So that's where I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to end this around 19 minutes. So when the people of the world come together, the leaders of the world lose their power over them. So, yeah, good ending message. So I hope everybody has a good night, and as usual, peace out.